Alrighty, World History B students, Tree Hall here with yet another essay video. So, purpose of this video is to go over the Unit 3 essay topic, and if you watch this, I promise you, will come out with a solid plan of attack for your essay, and you'll kind of have an idea on how to organize it. If you need any further help, please feel free to give me a call. So let's go ahead and start. By the way, so if you look at the background of the slide, you can't see it as well in this, but you'll see it in others, is you can see the sign that says Arbeit macht frei, which was work makes you free. They put that in the gate of Auschwitz, so that's why that's back there. In this essay, for this topic, you'll be comparing the Holocaust to some other genocide of the 20th century. So it's a pretty straightforward essay, shouldn't be too difficult to do. Let's go ahead and delve into this. So let's start with the essay topic. Okay, so comparing involves looking at both similarities, how are things the same, and differences between two or more people, places, or events. Write a 5-paragraph essay in which you compare the Holocaust with the genocide in Armenia, Cambodia, Bosnia, Rwanda, Kosovo, or Sudan. So you got lots of choices here. How was each event similar or different? Identify the aggressors, the target groups, the reasons why the aggressors engaged in genocide, what occurred, attempts made to stop the genocide, and by whom, the outcomes. Now, what I didn't include here is that you will have to go outside of your lessons to research some other genocide other than the Holocaust, but there is plenty of information there. If you're not familiar with genocide in Armenia, that actually occurred in World War I. The Ottoman Empire got rid of their Armenian problem. They genocided Armenian Christians right at the end of the war. And then Cambodia was a genocide against older people. Their government decided everybody above the age of 25 or 30 was no longer desired, so they basically tried to wipe out the older generation. Bosnia was a genocide of, was it the Croatians? Both Bosnia and Kosovo had to do with ethnic minorities inside what was formerly the Yugoslavian country. It kind of went into civil war. Rwanda was a genocide between the Hutus and the Tutsis, and then in Sudan you had a Muslim majority population that was genociding a Christian minority population. So there's tons of different genocides to choose from. So anyway, let's move on to the next slide. So the first step when you write an essay is to turn the topic into a question with a question mark. Sometimes they are written out that way, sometimes they're not. The reason that this is important is because it clarifies or identifies your topic, and then the second reason that it's important is the answer to this question is your thesis statement. It gives you a way to test this. Now, if you look at our topic, write a 5-paragraph essay in which you compare the Holocaust with the genocide and blah, 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 what it comes down to is the question that you're being asked here is, how does the Holocaust, which is otherwise known as the genocide in Germany or in Europe in the 20th century, compare to the genocide in whatever? And I will tell you right now, the very first thing that you should know is the scale of the Holocaust is way bigger than any of these other genocides. Way, way, way bigger than any of these other genocides. So that's one of the first ways that it's going to compare. And basically, I think when you research any of these genocides, what you're going to find is that in ways it was similar and in ways it was different. And you might early on come up with a general way, even if it's just to say that the Holocaust was like many other genocides, but practiced on a much more large scale and much more systematically than the other genocides, because that would be correct. Out of it doesn't matter which genocide you choose, that's going to be correct about the Holocaust. Other than that, you're going to see these genocides are fairly similar in the way that they carry themselves out, because a genocide is similar. It's a decision to end another race because you are competing with that race for resources and you don't want them around anymore. Maybe they've got a different religion or language or culture than you, and you're done with them. So in that way it's similar. So the first thing you do is turn the topic into a question with a question mark. You write that down if you're taking notes. The next thing that you want to do is organize your essay. Now, what I did here is I included the secondary information in the essay, and the reason for that is sometimes when you write out when you write out an essay, your organization is kind of given to you in the topic. Sometimes it's not. For example, let's say you had to write an essay on the causes of the French Revolution. If your topic was simply write a 5-paragraph essay on the causes of the French Revolution, you're going to have to come up with 3 different causes for that revolution, and that's what's going to help you organize your essay. In that case, you have to come up with the organization. Sometimes you're given the information. Now, you notice in this essay that you have to identify several different things, and there are 6 bullet points here. If you stick with this or choose 3 off this, you're going to have your essay's organization. And let's kind of go into this in a little more details. All essays have an intro, body, a conclusion. That's what makes an essay an essay. In your intro, you got to tell them what you're going to tell them. In your body, you tell them. And in your conclusion, you tell them what you told them. If you're not doing that, you don't actually have an essay. Now, when you're told that your essay is a 5-paragraph essay, that makes things even easier because you automatically know that your intro is 1 paragraph and your conclusion, which is, your intro, you tell them what you're going to tell them, and your conclusion, you tell them what you told them. Usually conclusions and intros are fairly similar size. They're almost the exact same size. So you automatically know that your conclusion is also going to be a paragraph. That means that in a 5-paragraph essay, all you have to do is come up with 3 body paragraphs. You've got to come up with the topic for your 3 body paragraphs. Now, in this entire essay, you're going to be comparing genocides, so all you really have to do in order to organize your essay is pick 3 items from the list to the left. Some of these items kind of are redundant, so you don't have to cover every one of these because I guarantee if you pick 3 of these, you're going to cover everything here. So one of your first steps that you're going to want to do after you've turned the essay into a question with a question mark, or the essay topic, the next thing that you want to do is you want to pick 3 of the items off of this list here, and those are going to become your body paragraphs. It's going to end up looking something like this. So your essay question, your topic question is, how does the Holocaust compare to the genocide in, I'll just say, Rwanda? And then what I'm going to pick for mine are the reasons, what occurred, and the outcome. So you'll notice here that on the left I've got 3 items right off the list, and then you'll notice that on the right, in what I call my essay map, I've got those items listed even shorter over and as my body paragraph. So my first body paragraph, or my main point 1, is going to be about the reasons for the Holocaust compared to, say, Rwanda. My second body paragraph is going to deal with what actually happened in the Holocaust and Rwanda. And my third body paragraph is going to identify the outcomes in both of these areas. Now, an essay map is important because what it does is it allows you to organize your facts. You need to make sure, and it allows you to say, okay, I'm only going to list reasons in this body paragraph. I'm not going to talk about what occurred. That's going to be in a different place. I'm not going to talk about outcomes. That's going to be in a different place. If you make an essay map, you will find that it's going to save you. It's going to cut down the time that it takes you to write an essay in half. Essay maps are huge time savers. So take a moment. Either use my essay map or use your own. Take a moment, press pause on this, write yourself down an essay map. What are you going to use for your 3 body paragraphs? Again, you can go right back to this list right here. Pick 3 and use it. Okay, now, before we go into what is in detail, what is going to go in your body or your intro and conclusion paragraphs and your body paragraphs, we need to talk about compare and contrast essays because these are a special format of essay, and I noticed that a lot of students tend to do these wrong. So let me tell you first the wrong way, the temptation. In a compare and contrast essay, the temptation is to make your first body paragraph about one of the 2 items you're comparing, make your second body paragraph about the second item, and then come up with a third body paragraph that compares those. Everybody seems to do this if they're not given coaching otherwise. So this is the temptation, and guess what? It's wrong. And here's why. In a compare and contrast essay, you must do 2 things throughout the entire essay. 1, you must address the topic question. That's what you have to do in all essays. But 2, and again, this is where people get screwed up. You've got to compare and contrast both elements of comparison throughout the entire essay in all paragraphs of the essay. That means if I'm going to talk about the Holocaust and the genocide in Rwanda, for example, I have to bring up the Holocaust and Rwanda in every single paragraph of my essay, starting with the intro, then throughout the first body paragraph, then the second and the third, and all the way through the conclusion. What it means is when I look at my essay map, here's what it looks like. In my first main point, when I talk about reasons for the genocide, I have to talk about the reasons for the Holocaust and the reasons for the genocide in Rwanda. As I move into my next body paragraph, now I'm going to talk about what happened first in the Holocaust, then in Rwanda. As I finish with my third body paragraph on outcomes, how did everything turn out in the end? Once again, I have to mention Holocaust and Rwanda. If you give in to that temptation to do a body paragraph on one, then the other, and then kind of a mixed one, what you're going to find is two of your body paragraphs are half off topic, meaning they're only talking about one of the two items of comparison. So again, the key thing to remember about a compare and contrast essay is that whatever your items of comparison, the Holocaust is one that's been chosen for you, and then your second one you have a choice of some other genocide. You need to make sure that you're talking about that throughout the entire essay in every single paragraph. Now let's move in. We're kind of finishing up here. Let's talk about intro and conclusion detail. Don't forget that your intro has to do two things. One, introduce your readers to your topic, in this case, both genocides. And then second, answer your topic question. You need to answer that question. How does the Holocaust compare to the other genocide that you're talking about? Now remember, a good intro is about 5 to 6 sentences long. Your answer to the topic question is usually one of those sentences. So just doing a little bit of simple math, give about 2 sentences to introducing the Holocaust and 2 sentences to introducing your other genocide. That's 4 sentences. And then you get into that topic question. How was the Holocaust? How does it compare? And by the way, what that means is how was it similar and how was it different? Come up with 1 sentence to answer that. You can do that in 2 as well. But again, use a little bit of math. When you get to the end of your essay, you go back and look at that intro, and your conclusion has to do 2 things. 1, it needs to remind readers what your topic was. Don't forget, guys, I just talked about this. And then in this case, this is both genocides. And then it needs to restate the thesis statement. Again, not as hard because you've already written out that intro. So that's something to remember when you go to write these. Now let's talk about body paragraph detail. A good way to think of your body paragraphs is that each of your body paragraphs is a 1-paragraph answer to your topic question, but it's done in a topic-specific way. So remember that our topic question is, how does the Holocaust compare to the genocide in wherever? Again, I'll just use Rwanda because that's what we've been talking about. So each of the body paragraphs actually has to answer this question in about 6 or 8 sentences, but they do it in their topic-specific way. So I want you to look at these questions that I've written here, and I want you to notice that they look very, very similar except for a couple words. How do the reasons for the genocide in blank compare to the Holocaust? How did what occurred during the genocide in blank compare to the Holocaust? And how did the outcomes of the genocide in blank compare to the Holocaust? Do you notice at the end of each of those sentences, or each of those questions, is exactly the same? The only thing that is different is the subject, the topic, reasons, what occurred, and outcomes. So basically, that's what you have to do in each body paragraph. And remember that each body paragraph is a 1-paragraph answer to that question. Here's another way to look at this. Each body paragraph must answer the topic question and be about 6 to 8 sentences long. How does the Holocaust compare to the genocide in Rwanda, say? Each body paragraph must do 2 things. 1, must describe the Holocaust, and it must describe the other genocide you've chosen to write about. Now remember, if it's 6 or 8 sentences long, that means you want to give 3 to 4 sentences on the Holocaust and 3 to 4 sentences on your other genocide. So let's say I'm talking about reasons. I'm going to start with 3 or 4 sentences of the reasons for the Holocaust. Why did Hitler and the Nazis target the Jews? What was their big problem with them? It is very easy to find 3 or 4 sentences of information on this. He wrote a whole book about it and all of this. There's lots of information there. After I put 3 or 4 sentences down about the reasons why the Jews were targeted in the Holocaust, now I transition to reasons for my other genocide. If I'm talking about Rwanda, I want to talk about I always get this wrong. Why did the Hutus target the Tutsis? I never remember which ones got killed and which ones were doing the killing. But either way, I want to now spend 3 or 4 sentences talking about these reasons. Now remember that the idea is to compare and contrast, so you'll do this as you describe. So you may say something like, well, the Holocaust in Germany was mainly a religious, designation. The Holocaust in Rwanda was mainly along racial lines, and then you begin to do that. So you might find some of these transition sentences in your body paragraphs, and if you do that, that is good. Either way, as long as you're sticking with the topic, you're going to be okay, because you're going to be describing reasons for both of these different Holocausts. And again, you can add a sentence or two in there, just kind of comparing and contrasting. That's actually probably a good thing. So something that you want to think about there. All right, you're ready to go now. So the thing is, don't forget that your essay is answering the question, how does the Holocaust compare to your other genocide? Don't forget to address the topic question throughout all of your essay. Compare and contrast both elements of comparison. A good 5-paragraph essay is 600 or more words. Here's an essay map. Yours may look a little different than mine, but have that sitting there. Anyway, thank you, and I hope that this helped. Bye-bye.